Today's band is a very special one. It's the Australian formation King, who makes melodic death metal and had their album Fury and Death out. Despite the time difference, they wanted to join our interview so they could share their album with the world. I hope you enjoy this interview.
Welcome at first, and I think it's great that you guys want to join. Maybe can you introduce yourself to people who haven't heard from you before?
Sure. My name's Dave Hill. I play guitar in the band King, a death metal, black and death metal band from Australia in Melbourne. You've been around since maybe 2015, 14, 15 we started and put out our first album in 2016. With indie recordings from Norway, and then the second album of 3 years later, 2019, the second album Coldest of Cold came out, also on indie recordings. We've been playing pretty much around Australia during that time. Now it's the new album, number 3, is a couple of days old.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Can you tell me a little bit with what kind of music you grew up to and how that influenced your music for now?
I think personally, I started off with stuff like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, that type of thing. I guess, in the early teenage years, and then always had that urge to kind of find something heavier. You're always trying to find the next heavier, more heavy thing than the last. So from there, probably got into Slayer, Morbid Angel, and then a fair bit of like grind stuff, like Rotten Sound, Nasum, bands like that. But always really liked black metal stuff like Immortal, Satyricon, even like the more folky side like Moon Sorrow, and everything kind of goes with those bands around that.
Yeah.
Introduce.
Can you tell me a little bit about the release Fury and Death now? How did that came together?
Well, I probably started writing it fairly soon after Coldest of Cold came out. So probably like 2020, I think, when when COVID hit the world. So I think mid 2020 I started writing it. And I think, the inspiration was there. So you kind of got to take advantage of it when the inspiration strikes. Sometimes it can be months and months and you kind of write material and it's no good. You kind of got to work your way through that not so good stuff until the good stuff starts coming. So it was maybe a period of 4 months or something like that of writing all the demos, which is kind of pretty much I usually demo stuff with the guitars and maybe program some kind of simple drums just to kind of get a bit of a fuller song feel. And then, from there, usually the process is we'll send it, our drummer takes that and, makes some fantastic drums to my terrible kind of drum programming, simple stuff. Records that and then sends it back to me, and I might make some adjustments with the guitar depending on being inspired by his drum parts. And then same process with the vocals. It gets sent to Tony, our vocalist, who works his magic, and we have a bit of a communication about maybe making some changes or extending parts or adjusting the formats and so on. A bit of that during the demo and pre-production times too, to make sure where he's imagining the choruses will be, or do we need to kind of bring this part back or introduce this section earlier, to kind of have those conversations as we go through. And yeah, once he's happy with his parts, then we'll record the vocals and bass, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But like, do you always work apart? Because now I can imagine with Corona, it was harder to meet up or something. Like,
Yeah, it was pretty hard in Australia to meet up. We had a fair few kind of lockdowns, which absolutely limited any meeting up. But I think with King, for some reason, we don't get together that often to go, unless we've got a tour, then we'll get together to rehearse before that. But for some reason with King, the writing process kind of works best in these kind of little separate kind of zones for some reason, and each person kind of adding their part to it, kind of in their own time, in a way, rather than traditionally, I guess, with past bands, we jam a lot together as a group. Someone's got some ideas, we kind of put it together as a group. I guess with King, it kind of happens like that still. There's still input and adjustments made depending, from everybody. But it just kind of comes together. For some reason, it works really well like that for us to kind of do our little parts separately. And I think a big part of that, like, it keeps it fresh for all of us, rather than in the past, kind of rehearsing over and over songs to keep them, say, memorized or whatnot. It can kind of sometimes wear down your enthusiasm as time goes on, say leading up to, trying to write an album. I think keeping it really fresh. So, say Dave, another Dave, the drummer, he'll hear the songs kind of almost for the first time when he gets the demos from me. And, I guess it's a chance to kind of get more instant excitement and capture that feeling when he first heard them, kind of jam along to them, you know what I mean? And kind of capture that first inspiration. And I know it works really well like that for King. And then again, the same with the vocals. Again, we'll discuss stuff throughout the process, but they're really kind of got to leap forward before the next component is added, and you get that extra. You get it kind of new and fresh again.
Yeah, makes sense.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering a little bit about the song Black Dimension, because it kind of jumped out to me. Can you tell me a little bit about this track?
Black Dimension. I'm just getting really familiar with the album after it came out. That's probably one of my favorites, actually. I really like that one. Okay. Yeah, it was just, that was almost one of those songs I remember during writing where it was not a struggle at all. You kind of come up with one riff and then it just kind of all flows straight away from that. You kind of know what's coming next. And I think, like, listening back to it now, I can feel that still in the song. It flows really nicely together. Yeah. It's got a cool kind of, I don't know if it's like, it's a bit kind of tense, like on edge, but also it's got some quite cool melodies in there. And I think if I remember correctly, you finally kind of get a bit of a break towards the end there. Yeah. Before it kicks back in. Yeah, I really like that one. It's got some, maybe some different riffs to what King has had in the past. For me, it feels like just a little bit different. Like the style of riff or the way I played it or something. It feels a little bit different. Something a little bit newer than what we haven't included in the past.
Yeah, I think so. And I also saw you guys were making a lyric video for Volcano. But can you tell me about this song and why did you choose this one to be out there like that?
Oh, we haven't done a lyric video for Volcano. I think we I
saw.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I don't think so. But I mean, the song itself, I love that song.
All right, maybe somebody else made that then.
That would be cool. Yeah. look, I really do like that song. It's one of the ones. I think we chose that as the first single from the album.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a cool song. I think got some really kind of like driving, rocking riffs. They kind of remind me of like I guess some Immortal stuff. Maybe but it's got a kind of interesting arrangement in that it's not this kind of like your verse chorus type arrangement, and the kind of chorus comes towards the end after a really long kind of verse section. So you can really get into that kind of driving, rocking riff, and then when the chorus comes in after the kind of break, it's quite kind of I love the way it comes in. It's like really kind of uplifting and full, and kind of like a nice resolution towards the end of that song. You know, we definitely need to do a lyric video for it. If there isn't one already,
Yeah, I think I
that'd be
saw
cool.
it, so maybe somebody made it.
Oh yeah, I'll have to Google it after. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I noticed you have a lot of songs with I don't know, nature in title hints, like mist, volcano, mountains of ice, everything. Is that a theme that speaks to you most, or?
Yeah, I think so. Like, our vocalist Tony writes all the lyrics, but I think nature and the natural world, I think, has always been kind of part of King. I think for me, like King's music, like kind of conjures up those images or those feelings for me, like going for like hikes or being being basically in the outdoors. Yeah, maybe like a bit introspective. I think, yeah, King, for some reason, I think even with other bands with similar kind of realms, like I think there's often that kind of lean towards writing about or including nature, or that kind of and you know, the beautiful landscapes and the inspiration that provides. I often feel that and sense that within that in that genre.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I think with King, I don't know, like what, you know, if I'm writing the music or listening back to the songs, like it always, you know, takes me to that same kind of place. You know, I think if I'm writing, I know that maybe I'm on the right track if it's taking me to that kind of place in your mind where, you know, you might be on an awesome hike, or you know, walking up some mountain or looking at some, you know, beautiful view. Yeah, I think it's somehow intertwined there.
Okay. If you look at this album and you compare it with the old one, where do you think that the longtime fans that have been listening to you for so long are finding the surprises in this release?
I think it's probably the surprises. Maybe there's a bit more aggression in some parts. A bit more up tempo, a fair few more songs that are like heaps of blasts throughout. There's a bit on the past albums, but maybe I think more on this one. A few different kind of ideas and style, maybe not so much different styles, but different takes or different type of riffs and concepts within the songs. I think there's a few kind of slower, more how could you say, like kind of spacious songs on there too, where it's a bit more like a bit more loose. Like Dave on drums is like has a bit more room to kind of play around with a slow groove, and not so kind of like, not so much tight riffing, you know, a bit more loose and maybe atmospheric is the word in some spots. I don't think we've done much of that on the past two albums. I think there's a couple of slower, I don't know how to describe it, slower, lower points on the album, which I think for me, like, I like that kind of contrast. You know, you need a bit of a journey throughout an album from the start to the end, not just, you know, I love fast songs, but, you know, absolute blasting from the start to the end, I feel like maybe it wears off after a while, doesn't have that impact, and maybe taking the listener on a bit of a journey through different tempos and different melodies, different kind of riff styles, a bit more kind of helps with the storytelling, I think. So I think, yeah, more diverse arrangement within the songs is something the fans could expect. I think there's enough of, I guess, I would just say, like, usual sound in there. It sounds like, or I think it sounds like how King usually sounds, with some kind of newer elements. So hopefully, I feel like we've built on the past two. Yeah, maybe leaving out some elements that weren't so strong on the past ones, and trying to incorporate some new stuff to complement the existing stuff we're happy with.
Yeah, of course, that's progress, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, good. Can you tell me what's coming next for you guys? Are you guys touring in anywhere?
So we're trying to organize something for Europe, which would be awesome. I think at this stage we're looking at a national tour around Australia, at least early next year. Nothing confirmed yet, but hopefully we'll be able to announce something soon. And it'd be awesome to get over to Europe soon after that. Hopefully we can work something out. It's eluded us so far. We've had some things almost happen, during like the kind of the releases of the past albums. But then, yeah, especially with Coldest of Cold, soon after that, it was COVID, so that kind of put a grinding halt on stuff. So hopefully we can make it this time. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be really nice to see you guys.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe last question I have is, do you have a Christmas wish or some wisdom for us to share with the world?
Christmas wish. Christmas wish will be for sure to get a European tour locked in. That'd be awesome. Words of wisdom, I think. Check out the new King record for sure. But try and be peaceful and calm, and I think look out for one another.
Thank you very much. That's our really nice words.
Thanks.
Good. Okay, then I have no further questions. Thank you very much for your time. I think it's amazing that you guys wanted to join for this series.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much for reaching out, for the opportunity and the interview. It's really awesome.